You join us on OTB once again. We've got amazing news. Berkz has hit his goal, his target. They've raised $34,000
As a total, yeah.
as a total, $34,000, and because of that, we get to shave his head for you and everyone on the pod.
So who wants to take which chunk? Let's discuss.
This was for the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Yep. Breast Cancer Network Australia.
That's right. And tonight, Berkz is going to commit his hair for them. When you're ready, Rio.
All right. He's actually got long eyebrows.
I'm covering my eyebrows, but I don't trust you guys.
Relax, we're not going to get your eyebrows. All right.
Yes.
Okay, everyone get one strip. Everyone get one strip. Make sure.
Yeah. So the camera can see?
Head down.
Wow.
Look what he looks like.
Bro.
That would hurt, lad.
No, it's fine. It's all right.
Jeez Louise.
It's my left hand, bro.
Right, is everyone cutting it?
Yeah, it's my left hand.
Bro, I'm definitely covering my eyebrows.
I feel like I'm
George stands up.
Just leave that and then leave that part. What are you doing? Is that? I can't even see it, bro, on the camera.
Hey, did you ever play Tekken?
Yeah.
Who was that old guy with just like the shaved noodle?
What's his name? The dad. He was the dad. It was Jin's dad.
I reckon we leave it and you do the pop like this.
No chance.
I reckon you just do the rest of it like this.
Mama, did you take a photo of that? Please tell me.
I don't even know what's going on. I can't even feel the shapes on my head right now. I don't know what you guys did, but...
Nah, it looks unreal, bro. Don't worry.
That's it. I just want to leave it like that. We've given you the reverse George Costanza.
I'm going to clean it up.
I want to give him an OTB signature.
Leave it like that. Can we? No, leave it like that for the pod. Lost the eyebrow.
Oh, that's the only thing I'm worried about anyway. Eesh.
Hey, stop mugging it.
Now I feel like I'm at an actual Turkish barber. I like it.
Unreal.
Hey, bro. Your hair is shitty.
This is the whole episode.
Sorry.
What went through your head with that one?
Bro, you want this, babe?
No, I'm good, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, bring it here.
How much do I owe you?
Wait up. No, let me grab his neck.
Someone's been like this.
Because we haven't got that monotone voice like Becky. He doesn't like. Becky's like, he can speak from here and you'll sound like Chris.
And you know what? He can speak from there and still put you to sleep.
That is the intro. That's the intro. That's a good intro.
He's never coming back.
That could be. Bro,
That's a clip.
that could be his superpower, bro.
That's a clip.
Open his mouth and then he's like Jigglypuff. People just start sleeping.
Oh, bro.
That's sad pups, bro.
But the way the bowler works, the way he walks, and the analytics of the left and right, and goes left.
After shaving
He's not even inverted, bro.
as you can see, he's nice and crispy. He's followed through on his promise of shaving his head.
All in
It
support
is-
of breast cancer research, obviously.
Yeah.
No,
Well
no
done,
taking the
Berkz.
piss.
Well done.
We are entering,
Congrats, mate. Well done.
Good clap.
for some people, the most entertaining and exciting part of the football season, and that is transfer time.
Yes.
Transfer windows opened 2 days ago, July 1st. June 1st. Sorry.
We always win transfers.
Yeah, you're
spend a
transfer
cool
king.
$2 billion. Yeah,
Actually, you guys are creeping up as transfer kings. 150 for words. Don't talk.
Let's it happen first. It hasn't happened
let it
yet.
happen.
And
We're gonna bottle it so bad.
this
We're gonna
week we've
bottle
been
it so
sitting
bad.
down and we've been thinking, what would be the top 10 Premier League transfers of all time? So, we've posed that question to ourselves and a couple of other boys. We've got 7 lists in total compiled down to a top 10. There was 37 total players submitted. From those 37, I've added them all together and I've worked them out and I've brought together a top 10 list of the combined
We've run the numbers, you're saying. We've run the numbers.
OTB list.
I
Right?
understand now. I see.
Now, I'm going to tell you the 10. I'm going to give you the points they earned along the way and a couple of fun facts as well. But what I'm thinking is, boys, let's start with some honourable mentions, right? There's a couple of players that just missed out on 10th spot. They accumulated 8 points, right? This will make more sense as we go on. Okay. Firstly, Rio Ferdinand. There were two defenders that ended up on 8 points. Rio Ferdinand has 8 points. And that's all because Riyadh had him as the third best transfer in Premier League history.
Of course it was Riyadh.
And he accumulated all 8 from that.
Try not to swear, but okay.
We can't swear. No more swearing.
Look, feel free to talk about this because this is crazy.
So everything
That's
else was all
wild.
fine, and it's just because if he put him third, he's racked up that many
So
points.
how do
Imagine,
you
bro.
go number 3? Value for money, what he's done. Like,
Yeah, how
what
is he
was
the
the-
third best transfer in your opinion in Premier League history?
What was the
Okay,
justification
here we
there?
So at the time, he was the most expensive
exactly.
transfer for a defender.
Sorry, how much was he for?
40.
So
40 from?
40 odd. So it was 40 something.
Close to 50.
From where? Sorry, where'd you guys get
Came
him?
from Leeds.
Leeds.
Okay, Leeds United to United in 2002.
Inflation, that's like 100 million.
Sorry. Is that 40 back then?
Yeah, 2002, bro.
Not-
40 million.
That's more than
So
Drogba.
it's
That's
40 pounds.
Yeah, 40 million pounds.
Yeah,
which is like
that's
100 million.
ridiculous.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's a lot.
29 million euros.
That's-
No.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What's your math, bro?
Pounds.
It's actually not 40. I've got
Pounds are more
29.
expensive,
If
bro.
we adjust that for inflation,
Fee 29.1 million. I don't know what you guys got 40
hang on.
No, that's pounds. 29.1 million
So
pounds, so 40 million euros.
euros.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But someone fact check that because I'm pretty sure it was 40 million
No,
pounds.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I had him there because he was a defensive rock.
Can I look at
Yeah.
the numbers, please?
Yeah, right away.
So, Rio Ferdinand is second in place and by far the most expensive defender on the list. His £29 million fee in 2002 pound is equivalent to £199 million today. Adjusted for inflation. That was 31st of August 2023.
That's crazy.
That's
So
not
even
it'd be
more
even
now.
more now.
Probably
yeah.
even more now. But adjusted for inflation,
Actually-
that's a £200 million transfer.
crazy.
Could you imagine a Rio now though?
I know you want to go into this, but you're like, you've considered every player possible
Yeah.
that's come into a Premier League team,
I'll-
and you're like top 3 Rio Ferdinand.
Ferdinand right there.
Wow.
Do you want me to like give my reasoning now or later?
No, give it now because
Okay.
after this we're done with him.
All right. Because the reason why
We'll come back to
the reason why he was so far up on my list, is because I'm ranking my best transfers based on bit of bias with United, and 2, these are the players that I grew up watching. Okay, so I grew up watching Ferdinand, idolizing Ferdinand in like defense. So yeah,
Can we remember what he said for future reference, please?
Interesting. Interesting.
Up next, also on 8 points, Ashley Cole. Ord also had him
Hey.
as the third best signing.
Of course.
He was the only one to include him in his list, and he had him as the third best signing in Premier League history.
Interesting.
Unbelievable.
Interesting.
Of course.
Cashley Cole.
Ashley Cole.
Hey, we bought him for £6 million. £6 million, and we gave him
How is
William
he the
Gallas.
third best signing in Premier League history?
We got arguably the greatest left back in the world for £6 million.
Plus William
And we gave William Gallas, sent him your way. An old William Gallas.
Well done.
Champions League winner, Premier League winner.
You've done better than Riyadh has. In justifying this. You've done better than Riyadh has.
how
in
many
justifying-
Prems and Champions League did he win?
He
At
won 1
Chelsea?
Champions League and 5 Premier Leagues.
Well, Riyadh, adjusted for
Okay,
inflation,
how is
it
that
doesn't
better
come
when
100 million.
Ferdinand won 6 Premier Leagues and 1
Because
Champions
we
League?
paid $6 million for him. We paid
Doesn't matter, bro.
A bag of peanuts.
We still want more
investment.
Prems.
Return on
With-
investment.
with Ferdinand.
Arguably the greatest left back ever in the
Honestly,
Premier
if
League.
you look
We'll
at
come
our
back.
lives-
Premier
We'll
League
come
to
back
Premier
to this.
League.
You know
We
why?
can come back
Because
to
I
this.
know there's going to be a
This is
few
good.
names from these
This is
guys
good.
coming up.
That's fine. Up next, also on 8 points, we had Vincent Kompany.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I'm surprised he missed out on a top 10 spot. I had him in at 9th, and Uggs had him in at 5th. So, total 8 points between the two of us.
So he sits out of the 10.
He was in my original list. And then I decided to make an adjustment to my parameter. So that took him out of my list. So that could have actually bumped him higher.
He made these parameters from when he started watching, so 2020.
Hey, I'm not Berkz. Actually, wait, that's 2024.
Well,
But after that, we have Alison Becker. Berkz, you had him in at 10th, and Kez had him as the 4th best signing
wow.
in Premier
That's
League
huge.
Didn't you
history.
spend $70 million on him? How much did you spend on
That's
him?
huge.
yeah, so
How's that a good transfer? Like,
What do you
it's,
mean?
it's a
He's-
great
he's
transfer,
come
don't
in-
get me wrong, but it's a price tag too high.
Yeah, it's not too high. You guys paid 75 for Kepa the next week.
That is
Pretty
true.
much. What are you talking about?
That's because of you guys.
Yeah,
Bit of Liverpool bias there. And I'm
it
a
is the
Liverpool
voice.
fan.
I had a couple in my list, but we'll get to that at some
Speaking
point. I
about
guess,
keepers,
but-
can I just add a slight comment?
Yeah, go on.
Chelsea just evaluated Mike Maignan at 10 million euros.
wow.
They do not want to pay 30, 40 for him. He's got 1 year left.
Wow.
No, you weren't getting for that check.
Nah,
There's
but
no
that's
way.
what they valuated. Now they're going back and forth.
That's
with
just
Milan.
negotiation tactics.
Because Milan are broke.
Peter Cech almost made my
I'm
list.
hoping United come and swoop and offer double that.
Arsenal.
Honestly, Peter Cech almost made my list for Chelsea.
Did you hear his comment?
made my list. What did
He
he
just
say?
said, he goes, I hope United come and swoop. Who have you guys swooped from anyone?
Keep going, bro.
They almost took Luis Suarez
they're
48
the-
plus £1.
That was Arsenal. The 4 players that have missed out. They will honourable mention. So let's get into our top 10 list, boys.
Here we go.
All right, coming in at number 10. No surprise here. Virgil van Dijk, 9 points. Shockingly, though, James Milner also has 9 points.
What?
As Oud put him second best transfer
Wow.
in Premier League history.
That's huge.
So thanks to Oud, Milner got 9 points.
Wow.
Can I justify that?
I understand that. It's not a bad shout.
To be honest.
Hey, that's not a bad shout, though.
I don't think you fucking can.
He went from City to Liverpool. He was on free transfer.
Ultimate free transfer,
He
yeah.
became a versatile leader.
Yeah.
And he was a crucial squad player. Helped Liverpool to the Premier League title, the Champions League title,
look-
and countless big games.
The second best transfer of all time.
Hold on. He holds the record
transfer.
for the most
Most
assists
games?
in a Champions League campaign.
No
one's topped that
It
yet.
seems as though Oud
As
is
well.
going off, basing it off return on investment.
Yes.
And I feel like with the two names that he's named, with James Milner, there was a couple free transfers involved with him. It was
free.
He was always for peanuts.
Yeah.
And he's played like the most amount of games in Premier League history.
He's like 20
Something like that.
26 years or something. in the Premier-
Gareth
very,
Bale,
very
yes.
high. Very, very
No,
high.
as in, but he's played for almost what?
But it seemed
close to
like
30
his
now or something.
was
Not
based
30,
off
sorry.
My
ROI.
one's value for money, what you get out of him.
Interesting.
Why are you justifying what Oud is?
No, I'm
You
just
know what? This is the worst
thinking
because we've
about
got two Liverpool nuffies that are backing him because he put Milner.
I'm not
in.
backing him at all. I'm just
But
saying.
Milner is such a dumb shout for a
Hey,
top
ju-
10
You know what?
transfer list.
I justified it
Premier
really
League
Well,
well.
history.
top 10 of all time, yeah, fair enough.
Like ridiculous.
But you can't say he's not a solid transfer. Like he
I'm
was a
just
gun
looking
transfer.
at his parameters. I'm not even trying to justify him. I'm
Hey, it
just
makes
saying-
sense, though, the way
I understand
the argument's
thinking.
good.
Bro, I've actually got a headache. But this gave me the biggest headache.
I can
bro.
understand that.
I remember you
can
saying you had a
understand the
headache
thinking.
before the pod. Anyway,
It's gonna worse.
Can you say something?
I back it.
When you
And he's given us a good moment
Hey,
as well, where he got
listen here,
blasted
listen
by Mikhailo Mudryk.
listen
oh
here,
my god,
when
You mentioned that like 5 times.
bro, when you're
in the
talking
last year.
about let's link these transfers with Premier League icons. Yeah, when you look at our icons, you're never going to talk about James Milner as an icon.
We're not
bro.
picking icons. We're picking
I'm just
value
saying,
for money.
bro, value for money. But at the same time,
So how is Van Dijk value for money?
I think he's a rip-off.
so you're telling me that Milner is on the top 10 list?
for this bloke, he's
James-
number 2.
Van
no,
Dijk
I mean
and
in-
James Milner is in the combined top 10 list of all.
And they're tied at number
7
9.
lists. They're
At 10.
tied at number
They're 10,
10,
sorry.
with 9 points.
Bro, we'll tell you what.
It's just the money that did it for me. He's zero for free.
Whoever's English and watching this are going to roast this episode. I can already feel it.
Like, think about it. This podcast
Yep.
combined has listed James Milner and Virgil van Dijk as equal 10th best transfer in Premier
That's only
League
based
history.
on one person putting Milner in there. Isn't
That's
it?
right.
no one else picked Van
No one
Dijk.
else. No one,
Can we
no,
start?
Van Dijk was in a few lists.
All right, well, they should have picked more.
Well, how does
higher
that work
than-
then?
I didn't explain this, but basically everyone gave me their list, 1 to 10.
And you said you had
the
7
player
lists?
was in first, they got 10 points.
Okay.
And then from there it went down. So 10th place got 1 point. I then added up all the points that every player accumulated to account for their points for the top 10 list.
I'm glad Milner is getting his roses finally.
It's pretty crazy that we had 37 different players
Yeah.
mentioned in the 7 lists. That's pretty crazy.
37
Pretty
different
varied, yeah.
players.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Milner got 9 points.
Hey, good on him.
That's the crazy.
He deserves it.
Anything you want to touch on Van Dijk here, guys?
I thought we moved on.
So we're saying.
So we've moved on to Van Dijk now.
Who's number 10 though? Is it Van Dijk? Or
Well,
is it
they're
Milner?
level, so
Or
they're both
just-
on 9 points.
They're both
Can we,
on 10.
can we
Okay.
pick one here and put one on the list?
No, Milner's staying.
So you're saying you guys have made your bed, you have to sleep in it
That's
now.
right.
All right.
I agree with
Well done.
Sorry, well done, Oogie.
Thank you, bro. He deserves it.
Milner and Van Dijk are 10th on
Not
our
that
list.
I'm unhappy about
Yeah, I just
Well, you got some hair in your eyes,
Crazy.
something.
up
Something like that.
next in 9th position we have another tie. We have Frank Lampard from West Ham to Chelsea, and we have Michael Carrick to Manchester United.
Who the hell picked Carrick?
He's on my list.
Now, I want to say, Wood and Riyad were the only two to have Carrick. But they had him really high.
What,
No,
like fourth
I had
or
him
something?
at-
This guy had him 3rd or 2nd.
I had him at 4th.
Yeah.
Wow,
So I feel
right
like
after
based-
Rio.
I had him at 6.
And so 10 points, so 6. And
Rio
then
just have 1 to 10 the whole like the class of 98 or
I
something.
just want you to know, Ord didn't have Frank Lampard.
Oh wow.
I didn't.
Wow.
I was trying to go, again. I was trying to go for the low budget.
He was 11 million.
He was really cheap, but I think the final piece for Sir Alex's puzzle. You know what I mean? It was just I have to give United something. I've been giving him shit all year.
Since talking about money, he cost £18.6 million.
Cost a lot more than fucking Lampard did.
He did. But he was that midfield anchor for a decade.
Here's that word.
That anchor. Link with me.
He was a boat.
5 Prems, 1 Champions League. Again, a lot of my decisions is biased. I'm going with players that I've watched. Really?
Wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, a lot of players that I've watched and idolised, and Man United.
Well, you know
Okay.
what? We just got to give. Sometimes we just got to give United roses. You know what I mean?
Alfie, I know it's still early days,
We're
but
still
I feel
that
like
team.
I feel like your point system could have been adjusted to account for the Riyadh and order factor, and maybe you would have gained their points a bit less.
Brother, the points are the points. People submitted their list. I can't change their lists.
Yes.
I said to everyone, send through your top 10 transfers, Premier League history, and these are the lists that came through.
That's wild. All right.
So
So you
Lampard and Carrick are level pegging. Now, I don't think they're bad transfers. I think they're great transfers. I just don't think they're worthy of being top 10 in the Premier League. Maybe Lampard.
Lampard, yeah.
Maybe Lampard. You know,
Carrick, I
all-time
don't know.
top goal scorer.
He
midfielder.
was on my list.
Yeah, he
Lampard.
was on my list as well. But I just... it's fucking stupid. Just quietly.
Okay.
Not did he anchor that midfield for a decade. He also interim manager for United, undefeated too, mate. Like, come on.
We had,
He had 2 games.
no
wasn't
one's
he?
no one's doubting his
forgot about
ability.
that.
Or 1 game, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 or 3 games he had.
It would have been 3 wins and a draw. I
I
believe,
honestly
with
don't think anyone's
Chelsea.
doubting his impact
That's
at
better than
United.
United, to be fair.
But I
Yeah.
feel like top 10 lists, man. There's
Definitely better than Milner.
I did put
Yeah, it's definitely
look,
better than Milner.
Definitely.
I stick to my.
But hang on,
My
who do you
boys.
have at number 2? Ferdinand. So
Oh,
3.
He had Ferdinand at 3. 1 second.
All right,
boys,
well,
there you
look, we'll move on from that. I had to bring up the pricing, so I just put it in there now.
go. All right, so coming in at number 8 with a total of 12 points is David Silva. To Man City.
yes,
Yeah.
that was on my
wow.
list as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
not
not
have
on my
David Silva,
list.
no.
I
Not
didn't
on my
have
list.
Silva, but you had Silva, so please talk about him.
I had David Silva because he was signed from Valencia in 2010.
David.
And
David.
looking at the stats from what I was reading as well, he created over 600 chances in the league. And back then, when I was looking at where the stats were from like 2020, he was just behind Messi in the top 5 leagues in the world. And for the numbers that David Silva put up and how instrumental he was for that Man City side, especially in that from that 2010 to 2024 dominance period that they had. Obviously, he played until 2020, I believe, when he retired.
Yeah.
Sorry, when he moved on to where did he go? I can't
Moved
remember.
on,
Where did he go?
got his hair done.
Yeah, he
Did
did.
you get his
He
hair
did.
done?
Yeah, bold David Silva
But
was a different game
David
as well.
Silva was.
I agree. I think he
an
was.
absolute baller, and
That's
I
a good
think
shout,
for
yeah.
£25 million in 2010, he was one of the bigger signings when the whole
Was it Pellegrini?
Change
Abu
over happened,
Dhabi
yeah.
takeover happened.
Pellegrini was
I don't think it was
11.
Pellegrini yet, no.
It wasn't yet.
It
I
was the one
believe.
before Pellegrini.
Manchester.
Sevenson, whatever his name is.
But it was he was
Svensson, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I can't
believe so.
remember,
But he was part of that whole Abu Dhabi transfer. Like I think they got like I might be wrong, but Yaya Toure as well.
Robinho.
Robinho. They got a few different names, but I think David Silva at the time was. I think on my list he was on number 6. He was 6th on my list. So.
Robinho. There was a funny story about Robinho. This whole
know
time
this.
when they were signing him, he actually thought he was coming to Manchester United because he didn't know. He didn't know
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
Manchester City.
Yes.
So when he rocked up and everything was blue, and he's like looking around, he's like, "I think I came to the wrong club."
Yeah,
Because he had no idea.
He thought that there was only one Manchester team, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, sign for me."
Is this after he
Manchester.
signed?
After he signed,
After he
yeah.
signed to City.
And they
Could
brought
you
him
imagine
over.
we had Robinho as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
David
Nothing
Silva,
would
I
happen.
think-
On the manager shout, just to fact check because we said completely wrong. There was Sven Goran Eriksson, so
That's
who's
on, yeah, I
passed
said it.
away, rest in peace. He was like 3 managers prior to Pellegrini. So there's Brian Kidd, who was caretaker for 2 games. Then it was Mancini. Mark
Mancini,
for
yeah.
him, and then
Mancini
Sven Goran
was-
Eriksson.
So who
Before.
signed David Silva?
David Silva would have been Mancini. I think.
Mancini.
Yeah.
He had
What a
Balotelli there
genius.
as well. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, but
Mancini.
What a funny
from
City team.
from Mancini, it went to Pellegrini. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
Mancini was There you go. Like I said, I had him at 6.
That's a good shout.
Who else had him on their list?
I didn't. I thought about it.
Do you want me to go through? I can.
Out of curiosity, did you have him on your list, Alpy?
I can find him. No, I didn't have David Silva. I'll tell you now.
I reckon Kez would have had him.
Kez would have had him, and I'm assuming Vecchi would have had him if he's made the list.
City scum, bro. Wouldn't have him.
Vecchi had Silva at 4th best player, and you had him
at 6th.
6. So that's his points.
There you go.
Wow.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
So up next we have Wayne Rooney to United. He had 13 points.
I wonder who
10 of them were Riyadh.
And then 3 was Amo.
10 of them were Riyadh. So
is that number 7?
that is number 7.
Number 7. He was on the list as well.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Wayne Rooney was on
He
my
was
list
so
at
highly
8.
rated. I don't get it. Like, how's that? That's not a gem. Like, that's not a diamond in the rough. Like, people knew, and they paid big bucks for him.
100%. They paid a lot for him back then.
what was his transfer fee?
£27 million in 2004.
That's a lot.
That's
As a teenager.
equivalent to
As a teenager.
16-year-old.
Yeah.
16-year-old. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
17-year-old.
Yep.
he became from that teenage prodigy. He was a playmaker at the start. Correct me if I'm wrong. Midfielder
Pretty sure we signed him
as a midfielder.
No, I'm pretty sure we signed him as a striker.
He was a striker, and then he sort of faded back into
Into a
midfield,
10.
Yeah.
yeah.
And what a signing.
Is he your all-time top scorer?
Yes, correct.
He is. Yeah.
He is.
Still,
He is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not going to change anytime soon. Why am I surprised by that?
All-time league goal scorer.
5-time Premier League winner as well. Huge.
253
Stop
goals.
gassing him up, bro.
5-time
But let him reminisce,
EPL.
man.
Let's
He's
just
got nothing else to go for.
let's just make sure it's EPL. Yeah, EPL.
The poor bloke's got
One
nothing else to go
Champions
for.
League and multiple domestic cups. All right, captain the club. Guy was playing with hair, without hair.
Then he got forced out.
Here we go.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was forced out. I just think a new manager came in and just didn't have the room for him. But I don't think he was forced out. And then I think MLS came knocking on the door. No, he actually went back to Everton.
He went to Everton.
He went to
Yeah,
Everton,
yes,
correct.
he did.
Yeah.
1 or 2
He did.
seasons?
I can't
So, I mean,
remember.
where would you rank Rooney as a Prem player?
Player?
As a player, like top 10, top 5, top 3?
Nah. I personally, his impact and how influential he was for that team, top 15 player for me.
I'd have him 4th.
I'd have him top 10.
Top
I wouldn't know
15?
where, but top 10.
I'd have him the 4th best player in the Prem.
Nah, not 4.
Ever?
I can't believe you've actually
Yeah.
put him as top 15,
Top
bro.
15.
It's actually quite
I'm not naming where he is in that 15, but he's not. He's not.
I'd have him 4th. I'd have Henry, Ronaldo, Salah, Rooney.
I'm disgusted, bro.
That would be my 4th.
In front of Aguero.
Yeah, in front of Aguero. That'd be my 4th. The 4 best players to ever play in the Prem.
And he wasn't on your list?
Rooney,
Yeah.
not as a transfer, no.
Okay.
Different list.
But in terms of like a top 10 player in the Prem,
Yeah.
absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay. Interesting.
You got to also remember, you got to factor that these choices are made from Prem clubs only. So if you're looking international wise, like getting players from another league, then you've got so many other names.
Well, luckily we're doing Premier
Even in
League.
the all-time transfers, and I'm talking about like your CR7s and your Messi didn't make a transfer. He just grew up from the academy. Rooney would still be probably a top 15 then.
He's a bum, man.
With all time, with all time. But basing it on Prem only, you have to have him in your top 5. You have to.
Oogie's saying top 16.
Honestly,
Just
I
on
don't
the
think he
edge.
makes my top 20 list. I'm being honest with you.
Wow.
What players of all time?
Yeah,
Who comes ahead
Don't worry,
of him?
Rooney just doesn't. He just doesn't move the needle for me. To be honest
offensive
with you,
takes here.
Wow.
Big offensive
he just
takes.
doesn't move the needle for me.
Where does Hoyland
Can you
fit in?
imagine some guy?
All I want to know is, did Rooney hurt you when you were younger, bro?
Can you imagine some guy in Manchester watching this? He's like, these guys don't know anything. He just turns it off. He never watches it again.
I'm only. I do like Rooney. I'm only.
Honestly, though,
He's already turned it off.
He makes my top 10.
Bro, Sammy is a City supporter, and he's actually got Rooney's scissor kick
yeah, I know.
framed
Wait, the same
in his room. In his room, and
Does
he
he go
goes,
like
I don't know if that matters too much.
I don't know if that matters either.
I'm just saying.
I just want to clarify.
That's the reason why it's top 4.
You could have transfers from other leagues into the Prem. It was just Premier League transfers.
Just letting you know.
Oh my God.
It's not my problem that you misunderstood it.
All
It's
right.
not my problem.
You're
All right.
Anyway, but regardless, I'll still put Rooney as number 1.
Well, he's
Wow.
number 7 in our combined lists.
So can we just get a recap? We had 7 Rooney, 8
8 was Silva,
Silva,
and then we had Lampard
Lampard.
and Carrick tied at 9.
and then Milner and Van Dijk.
Milner and Van Dijk in at 10.
That's good. I like that list.
It's all right.
So far, it's shit.
So much shit.
All right, coming in at number 6, we have another tie. Both these players accumulated 15 points. That is Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne.
Yep.
Wow.
I had De Bruyne.
Yes.
I had neither of them.
You did have neither of them.
How do you have neither of these players and you have James Milner?
Value for money.
I'm
Value for money. You can be bamboozled all you like. When you look at the dollars and cents, it all
So you're
makes
saying
sense.
if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Now, obviously, Aguero was signed very early on in the Manchester City revamp, and he's given
2011.
them their best moment in their club's history,
Aguero!
maybe except for the Rodri Champions League winner.
Yeah.
That might be close, but I think everything with that Aguero moment just
And that
ties
company
it.
goes up there, man.
The fact that they did it against
Yeah,
United
that
as well,
company goes up
as in
there.
like on the
Jesus.
last
That made
day,
me cry
Yeah.
for
It
different
made
reasons.
all
It
their
made me
fans cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, made Sir Alex cry too.
How did that make you cry, bro?
No, I was talking
We're
about
saying the
something else.
company goal. The company goal.
Ray tilted me when he said Rooney.
Where's Rooney's moment, bro?
Stay tilted. bro.
Against City, bro.
Was that to win the title?
Bro, I've seen Urdu there for Aspendale.
Exactly.
It's not special.
I reckon I'm more prolific for Aspinall than Rooney was for United towards the end.
Good on you, bro.
He's full pissed off.
Go score 253 goals for United.
And obviously, we've got KDB in there as well. Probably the best attacking midfielder, possibly the best midfielder the Premier League's ever seen.
He's up there.
Definitely better than Gerrard and Lampard and Scholes, I think. Just my opinion. I think he is the best midfielder we have seen
don't
coming
know.
into the Prem.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
to upset blokes, yeah.
But, I mean, those two players have been so pivotal to Manchester City's recent history.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's the only history, but whatever.
I don't
and
think
the club's success.
I don't think Gerrard laces any of their boots. To be honest, with you. No, I'm getting too wild.
Now you're just saying stuff
Just
for
do
the
it
sake
on
of saying
purpose,
it.
yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
honestly, he comes third in that list out of the three of them.
Who comes third?
Gerrard,
In what list? What's your list?
the
A list
midfielder
of the three of them.
Yeah,
List them?
KDB, Lamps, and then just wait for the pause. Gerrard.
Where's Scholes, brother?
Bro,
gives
you
a-
beat me to it.
Who gives a shit about Scholes? Bro?
Where-
Beat that out.
Bro, you can't let him get away with this slander.
He gets away with so much.
Bro, you can't let him get away with this slander.
Mate, honestly, you know what?
What a
Every time I
nuffy.
talk about greatest midfielders, Scholes never comes to my mind.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
Honestly, take your fucking Chelsea boots off for a second,
Can
bro.
you just not swear, please? We're trying to not swear.
Just
We're
for
gonna get we're
for
trying to
a
get
split
monetized here.
Second, take your Chelsea goggles off for a split
I
second.
put KDB first, bro. What are you on about?
Yeah, he didn't even have Lampard.
Tell
anyway,
tell
did that?
Scholes he'd
Bro.
take his toes out of his mouth
Chelsea,
first.
bro. That's what I was gonna say, bro. Scholesy.
Yeah, Scholesy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same bloke.
Criminals.
That's the same bloke that just called Manu who's going to be world class best midfielder in the world 2 weeks ago.
Mate, the guy's 20.
Yeah. He's a bum.
Scholesy retired, got fat, came back and still won the league, bro.
That was unbelievable.
Thank you very
That was
much.
unbelievable.
I'll let him
That
have
was
that, yeah.
unbelievable.
Even till now,
I actually forgot
even
about
till
that.
now,
Yeah,
when
that
you
was
watch his highlight reels, you get goosebumps, bro. Without fail.
Yeah, and that's why I put him fifth.
40, 50, 60-yard passes straight to your feet, bro.
That's why I
straight
put
to
him
your
fifth.
feet. Without fail. Goals. World-class goals.
Who's fourth?
Outside the box.
Question.
Who's fourth?
Rasmus Højlund.
Anyone but Scholes.
He definitely is on his list.
I'm getting tilted, bro.
Riyadh, where was Scholesy on your list? No.
I think
I'm basing this. I clearly got the instructions wrong. Okay?
Bro, he told
What
you
did
50
you
times.
base this off?
Scholesy was a United Academy player, bro. What transfer are we talking about?
All right. Why are you yelling at me?
calm down. Hey, that's-
Oogie.
kick back, bro. It's, we don't want to get demonetized.
No, bro, get worked up. You can't let him get away with this sort of rhetoric.
Anyway,
this slander.
the point I'm making is
talking about transfers.
Hey, moving along.
The
The
point
point
I'm-
saying this is on here.
the point I'm saying is when people are talking about midfielders, I never hear Scholes' name get mentioned. That's what I'm
look,
saying.
That's wrong.
I mean, that it does.
It's because you're on the Chelsea Reddits, brother. You
Yeah.
gotta
Also, I
you
don't-
gotta
I
look
don't-
outside the box.
I don't recall Lampard ever being in a discussion between Gerrard and Scholes, ever. Do you guys recall that?
It's always Gerrard or
Do you
Frank
ever recall
Lampard.
that, bro?
No, I,
I mean, it's a
I
three.
can't
isn't
say
it?
that.
I don't, personally.
I don't know if
That's
it's always
but
been
it's
the
always
three of them,
yeah.
but now it's De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Now it's De Bruyne.
Yeah, yeah,
he
but-
can go in the
Soon
mix.
it'll be Bruno as well.
It won't be Bruno.
pack it up.
Now you've lost me. Now you've lost me. But it was always those three: Scholes, Lamps,
it
and
was.
Gerrard.
And
But
Scholes was always last in that.
Now it's De
Yeah.
Bruyne. And I think that really does explain why he would be in a top 10 transfer list of all time.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think what he's done is undeniable. We've seen it with our own eyes. It's very recent. Yes, the last season or two he's dropped down a little bit, but still, that season where Haaland scored 60 goals, how many of them were De Bruyne just picking him out?
And then the
Amazingly.
moment he got injured,
Haaland's goals dipped.
absolutely,
well, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Shows
he
you
would
the
do that
pivotal
with any player up front,
Yeah,
any player that they had.
yeah.
He was putting them in just on a plate every
So,
single time.
I mean, they're two, probably with Silva, Aguero, KDB and company are probably the four most pivotal signings City have made,
City, yeah.
I think.
Probably.
Like in terms of everything they've given for the
Yes.
club, the leadership, the whatever you want to, how they've brought that club forward into the space now. Very, very
If you're
important
talking
players.
core, if you're talking spine, and every team, good team needs a good spine through the middle, they're definitely like in that
Up
list.
there, yeah.
In that list, and it's sad to see that the mural at Manchester City has been painted
Already,
over white.
they've already torn it down.
Apparently, it was only up till May 28th.
Okay,
For what reason? The guy is literally
Probably
one of their only
property
legends.
he probably need.
Probably property value. I wouldn't want to fucking
He
football
probably-
painted on the side of my
I wouldn't
house
mind
either.
that, to be honest. I wouldn't mind
De
that.
Bruyne will probably get a statue as well.
Yeah, well, it's already been set. Apparently,
Yeah,
he's getting a
He's getting a statue, huh?
He's getting a statue at
Wow.
the front
Just
of Etihad.
quickly, just quickly.
Don't talk about skulls.
No, I want to go back to Scott.
Oh, no.
Just quickly, I wanna go back to
Before you
Scott.
say that,
So
honestly,
just gonna move on.
I just asked Auntie Chat GPT here. Okay, out of the three players,
Well, there's four.
yeah, no, don't worry about De Bruyne.
No,
Out of the
because De
three
Bruyne-
players,
Don't worry
yeah,
about De Bruyne.
who was a better midfielder? All right, I just want to bring just two little thingy. So with Paul Scholes' legacy, okay, 11 Premier League titles, 2 Champions Leagues. All right. Now let's go to Steven Gerrard's legacy. Carried Liverpool through some
Hey, can you
difficult
go to the
years.
next one? Can you go to the next one? Can you go to the next one?
That's why I said Gerrard all the way at
hey,
the bottom.
United is like the naughty kid in class. Like, as soon as the name pops up, United, we completely get derailed. Everything goes off
bro.
track.
Wait, can we,
It's been like 10 minutes that we've been talking about number 6 because of the Skulls discussion.
Anyway, let's move on.
Moving on, bro. I'm sick of United. I'm sick of talking about your shit
brought up
club.
the slip and not him. Like, out of everyone to bring up the slip,
Literally.
you brought it up.
I just said Auntie Chat GPT.
Anyway.
Moving on, bro. I'm sick
So,
of United.
This is my favourite one. I know it's number 5 on the list, but this is my personal favourite. And this player would have made this list twice.
Oof, is it Arthur Miller?
So this player would have been
Arthur Mello.
this player would have been equal 9th and also 5th on this list.
Interesting.
Right?
Ninth and fifth.
One of my personal favourite midfielders, one of Orr's personal favourite midfielders, Kante. Now, Kante had 2 transfers. There was Leicester and Chelsea. Kante to Leicester accumulated 11 points. Kante to Chelsea accumulated 16 points.
Wow.
If I combined them, he would have been in the top 3.
Wow.
Unreal. What a player.
I had him at like 5, I think.
I had him.
I had him high up.
I had a number 1.
I had him
him high
at
up.
9.
You had him
and
number 1.
I actually wrote up a little bit
But I
about
did
him.
change
But
Go on. No, run the show.
Yeah,
My list was based off his transfer to Leicester in 2015 for £8.1 million. And I'm calling him the regen Claude Makelele, right?
Of course.
And this is the player that I got to see because I was too young to watch Claude Makelele. I was only watching highlights of Makelele, right? And obviously everyone knows that Makelele was the definition of midfield destroyer back then, right? Real Madrid regretted selling him to Chelsea, and he was obviously one of the greatest compliments you can play that you could play Makelele to name him for this role, the Claude Makelele role.
Yeah,
And the
unbelievable.
fact that Kante did this when he came to the Premier League, won 2 back-to-back leagues, I think he's definitely on this list for me.
Yeah,
Seen
absolutely.
at 5? Was this 5? Number
In at 5, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm happy with
the
that.
transfer to Leicester would have been in at 9th. I had him to Leicester. I had him in at 6th in my all-time list. Fiko.
I had both of them, to be honest with you, but I put the Chelsea one to be.
Yeah, I put Leicester.
You had him to Chelsea as your top. You had him as your number one transfer in Premier League to Chelsea.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you want to touch on that a bit?
Wait, just quickly, where did Leicester buy him from again?
Cannes.
Yeah, from France.
France.
But because it was not Premier League to Premier League, I didn't put him in there.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. He came in. Well, he actually won a title at Leicester. Then we paid 30 million for him just right after they won the Premier League.
30
Conte
million.
came in.
That was it, bro.
Million.
That was it.
And
Still.
that performance against Manchester City, there was a Twitter or tweet that they put out during the game saying Kante is everywhere or something along those lines.
It was something like, we'll have a chance if Kante stops running. It was something ridiculous, like the Manchester City Twitter account.
That game.
I'll find it. You keep going.
And he won us a couple of Premier League trophies. He was everywhere. He was just unreal to watch. They said, what there was another quote as well. They said if the world is 99%,
80% of water, the other 20% would be covered by Kante. I was just about to say that.
He was magical to watch.
No changes at the break and little chances so far this half. Kante has been everywhere all game. If we can bypass him, we might be in business.
Well,
That's what Manchester
ultimate
City...
respect to. Yeah.
Nah, he was honestly...
A ridiculous player.
And then once he started getting injured, but towards the end he actually started scoring goals, coming up clutch.
Yeah.
He was just everywhere. Box to box player, tackle, would win the ball, right wing, left back,
Strength,
up front,
endurance, just everything for
Didn't
this
stop running.
little
And
pocket rocket
Energizer
human
Bunny, yeah.
being.
and he was always humble. Had a mini. I remember one time during Ramazan, he got an invite from a family to come for iftar. And he actually went there, played with kids,
I heard about that,
PlayStation.
This guy.
Went there, sat with them. He was just such a nice, humble bloke.
Isn't he also on some ridiculous money in Saudi?
He's in Saudi now, isn't he? I was
Yeah,
going to
he
say.
would be.
So you reckon he
Which
bought a
club's
brand
it?
new Mini from the company now? Or?
I reckon they just gave him another mini. He never upgraded his car. He just always had
Gold-plated.
that 2018 mini, yellow one. I'm pretty sure it was.
Was it a
Just
mini?
drive-
I think it was even more humble than a mini, bro.
No, it was a mini. It was a mini. Yeah, it was.
Everyone rocking up like Ben Chilwell were rocking up Lambos and
Bentley
Ferraris.
Continentals and shit.
Yeah, and he'd be rocking up in a little mini.
But I mean, I think that's just credit to the player that was Kante. You know,
It was a white mini, sorry.
Both at Leicester and Chelsea pivotal both teams' success in that period he was there. So I think just saying that he'd make the list twice is really showing of the caliber of player that we're
100%.
talking about now that we're in to the top 5 rankings. There was only a couple people that didn't have him on their list altogether.
Yep. Let me guess. Riyadh?
Riyadh definitely didn't have him. No, Riyadh did. Riyadh had him to Chelsea.
My apologies.
As he had him in ninth.
I was about to rip him a new one. Oh my God. I was about to leave.
He had him in ninth. Kez didn't have him.
Kez, what is Kez no, man?
Vecchi had him to Leicester. Berkz had him to Chelsea. I had him to Leicester.
And Berkz had no idea.
Fiko to Leicester, obviously.
sorry.
And you had him to Chelsea as well.
Wow.
So the only person who didn't was Kez.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Clueless, Kez. You're clueless.
That's why I'm here and he's not. No.
He's not.
I just want to start singing that. Ngolo, can't do that.
He's not grabbing merch.
What's this roast Vex?
No, I was talking. That was a Kez, bro. He's the one that didn't pick him.
No, it was just Kez that didn't have him in his top 10 list.
Bloody hell, Kez, man. I'm disappointed in you, man. I thought you'd do better than that.
Fantastic.
He's just trying to bait you to come back on the show.
You're sacked.
Up next, in
I'm going to
number
remove
4.
him from the chat. Just quickly.
Yeah, I think it's time.
He sent his first reply to me today.
It took him 6 months. Yep.
In 4th, we have a signing by Mourinho.
I know which one
I
this
know
is.
this is-
He told Abramovich, don't talk, just pay.
Don't talk,
Just don't talk, just buy.
Don't talk, just pay.
Don't stick.
Drogba to Chelsea comes in with 18 points.
Yes.
I didn't want to be too biased, so I left him out of it. Yeah.
Drogba to Chelsea
he's
comes in at
number 5.
18 points.
I took
I was
him
going
out.
to say he was cheap, but he actually wasn't that cheap. But
Probably one of the most clutch final players we've seen.
Absolutely.
I think he was 10 games, 10 goals. Oh, actually, you know what? My list is Premier League to Premier League only, not from outside to
Okay.
Premier League.
It's not my problem.
That's why I didn't pick him.
It's not my problem,
Anyway.
bro.
Anyway.
Can't rate.
That's what I thought, right?
Yeah,
It's not my problem. I made it clear.
Anyway,
Why does that not surprise me?
We'll go back to King Drogba.
King is reserved for one player on this list, so please refrain from using the word.
we know
King.
who that is, clearly.
Well, look, clearly, if you want to win a game in a final, you play Drogba. You don't play the other player that's going to be there. So,
King
if you
is reserved
want a
for one-
goal in a final, you play King Drogba.
King is reserved for one player on this
Can
list,
I,
brother.
can I read you the full
King
quote
Cantona.
that you're talking about?
You can read whatever you want, Fiko.
This is Mourinho. Yeah. I remember clearly Abramovich was asking me, who do you want as a striker? With all the big names in Europe at that time, I said Drogba. He said, who is he? Where's he playing? I said, Mr. Abramovich, pay. Don't speak.
Don't speak.
And that's very, very like classic Mourinho back then. But
I love
quality.
Mourinho, man.
Class response though.
Definitely up there in the list.
I mean, you've got a fair few Chelsea players in here.
I made some big signings.
You happy,
Yeah.
Oogie?
Yeah,
Please
well,
run us through it, bro. What was Drogba to you? What did he mean to you?
mate, he was a cult figure. That guy in big finals, he was always going to pop up. Honestly, Wembley Stadium was pretty much his home stadium. Like, I remember I think it was a semi-final against Spurs where he chested down, turn around and volley it first time, top bins. Obviously the Champions League header that won it. And then the decisive penalty he actually took as well. Mate, Drogba was a cult hero. And he actually originally did the cult celebration, so...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that, but other than that, he's club
Famously
legend.
also with the knee slides, he'd always have a third track.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did.
There was always magically a third, like, somehow.
Look, Drogba,
Hangs low.
every time we played in a final, when we used to actually win, domestic titles, he would always come up clutch. And he's a player that you would want to play in the final. Not
With
against.
Chelsea,
but-
I mean, we know that there's a number 9 curse.
Yes.
He is probably one of the two
Yeah,
players that
Diego
Costa and
Costa.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's our two. Think about it this way. In the last
Costa,
20
two
years,
would
there are two only. The only two number 9s that we could say that have been good in the last 20 years. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so, I mean, he came in at a time where you guys were a powerhouse, but he really did elevate the squad.
He also came in at 26. He was 26 years old when he came to the Premier League.
Yeah, he was already old in France. He was playing, he played a...
Marseille. No, it was Marseille, I'm pretty sure.
Marseille, and he played at a different club before it as well. He's already
How did you feel when he went from Chelsea to Gala?
You know what? They didn't win. Surprisingly, they didn't win the title. The Feyenoord won it that year.
we did. We
sure?
won it the first year. That
Second year,
Drogba came.
Feyenoord won it, yeah.
The year after, yes. And then he left and came back to Chelsea.
And then he won it again.
He won. Yeah.
He did it like a Thierry Henry moment, the FA Cup, but he did play majority of the season because Torres was an absolute bot. So he had to come back at his age and save the day, and he won another one, I think.
So just quickly,
yep.
How did you feel
I
when he went from Chelsea
It happens all the time. A lot of
to
Chelsea
Gala
players go to Gala.
when this bloke had such significance in your life?
Do you know how random
it's
that
not up to
morning
him,
was
is
for
it?
me? When I woke up,
I was actually pretty upset.
I think we had already signed Wesley Sneijder, right, the week before or something, or maybe the same week.
What a signing.
And then when we announced Drogba, I was like 14, 15. I was like, what is happening?
Oh, we're a powerhouse.
I was like, are we going to win the Champions League?
They went on a good run. They said Mourinho was at Real Madrid at the time.
Yes.
And I think the first leg you guys lost to Real Madrid 3-0.
Yeah.
And then the second leg, he's like, it doesn't matter how, he played a full strength team because he's like, they got Drogba, they got Sneijder, all these players that he's just recently played with. And they went up 3-1.
We went up 3-1. Drogba scored the fourth goal.
He flicked it.
It was offside, but the entire stadium was going mental. And it was that we tied it up, obviously. It was 4-1, 3-0 the first leg.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I remember Mourinho made a quote and he said, we lost the tie. Like, I was scared. We lost the
Put
tie.
Ronaldo on. Actually, he played everyone except Ronaldo.
No, Ronaldo scored the winner in that.
He
and
came in, yeah.
Yeah.
He put him on. Oh, it was ridiculous.
It was
I was
a
actually going
ridiculous
for
Is
Garcia.
that when he did the step over on the left side of the box?
Yes.
And hit it across the keeper?
Oh.
He did like 3 players?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the goal that got counted, the one that put us up 3-1,
The flick.
he did a back heel.
Yeah, back foot.
Unreal.
I remember the Ronaldo goal. I don't remember the others.
The back
No,
flick,
the Drogba,
oh,
the
God.
Drogba, like
The
it was a
classic back
flick.
heel,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a back heel. Anyway, but he was in his 33, 34 back then was 33, 34. Like it's like 40 now. You know what I mean? The technology was a lot different.
But was he a slow player? He was number 9 as number 9 could get.
Yeah. He dropped. Obviously, the technology in 10 years have changed dramatically. 34 now would be like a 27-year-old back then.
Yeah.
I mean, like Yeah, if that makes sense.
You've still got like
30.
6-7 years.
Yeah,
in
you've
there,
still got a couple of
Yeah.
years left in you.
You know, but he was really slowed down.
There was one moment what really upset me was when Chelsea and Gala played each other in the Champions League in 2014, right before he went back to Chelsea, right? And we're playing at Stamford Bridge, and Drogba put in an abysmal performance because he was clearly like playing for the Chelsea fans rather than for Gala. He didn't care about the shirt on him. He's like, I'm back at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
And he had a free kick, and it was about 30, 40 yards out. And there's a sign at Stamford Bridge saying Drogba legend, and he purposefully tried to hit the sign, and like he didn't care. He missed it. He skied it, hit the second tier, and I was like, this guy's absolutely taking the piss.
Wait, I want to bring up another one. When Galstra played, Arsenal had his cup. What cup did they have?
Yes.
What cup did they have?
It was a pre-season
The
Emirates Cup tournament.
And he lost the. They lost the Galstra, and
Drogba-
Drogba scored.
Yeah. The Emirates Cup.
Drogba scored the winner.
Bro, and it was like a worldie, like he's celebrating.
Oh my god.
Unreal.
And they got pummeled, and Drogba scored in the final against.
It was at Emirates Stadium as well.
Yeah,
it was like 4 teams, and we somehow won it. And I was like, wow, we're going to win the Champions League.
He's definitely iconic. He's definitely
He's
an
an
iconic player. Like when you think about Chelsea, especially in the last 20 years
Since their history started.
since their history started.
course.
Like when you tell someone straight off the bat, like name me a couple of Chelsea players, you know,
Of course
like,
they're gonna
that
say
you
Drogba.
idolise, and like one will go Lampard, and then you go Drogba too. Yeah. You know, he's left such a massive stain on the club. You know,
But if we get a UV light and put it over Old Trafford, that's when you'll know stains, brother.
Yeah, it's all Mo Salah.
Shut shop. Let's
It's all
go.
Mo Salah's kids everywhere.
I think beyond even just Chelsea players, but you can put him up there as like in the position as a striker. He's
Top
up
15.
there, like as a name that pops up. Drogba comes up. I
Top
reckon,
15.
in many of those conversations. Yeah,
He was unreal. Anyway,
I don't know about that.
I reckon he's up there.
He's
Bro.
iconic.
When I
Top
think of a
15.
striker, I think of Drogba.
you have to.
Do you really? When you think of striker, you think of Drogba.
I wouldn't know where to place him in the
Yeah.
top 20, but like he'd be up there.
He would definitely.
When I think number 9, I think Drogba type player.
Yeah.
I think
enough.
also Drogba type, and I think the Liverpool Torres that
Yeah,
season that he
unreal.
had, and a Suarez.
Yeah.
These type of players, it's obviously different profile. I don't know why we went from. That's funny as you bring that up. I don't know why we went from a Drogba type, big, strong, wins headers to a quick, speedy Spanish Torres.
I mean,
You know what
Torres
I mean?
was on fire at Liverpool.
I know, but he just did his ACL, came back
All
off
right,
a very bad World Cup, and then we paid 50 million for him. I just don't get that transfer.
Oh, man. And then he did his ACL before?
No, he did it before.
But he won you a
Before he
Champions League, so who cares?
Yeah, I honestly don't
He
care.
was
That
pivotal in that
unreal.
game too.
Yeah.
He actually played well, and he also won us the Europa League. He had a really good Europa League campaign as well the year after, and we won the Europa
He
League.
had some sort of he was probably the start of that curse, that number 9 curse.
The 9 curse.
The number 9 curse goes back
Kezman.
to Shevchenko.
Yeah,
like, it
Kezman,
goes back-
But
Shevchenko.
if you remember, the I don't know if you guys remember, but the chances that Torres was missing.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
appalling.
versus the goals he was
Yeah,
scoring at Liverpool, right? He was scoring like just.
It was
bang,
like
bang,
black
bang.
and white. It was
He
like,
was
what the hell's
like
going on?
just prolific every time he was in the box. Just sense for goal. Torres, I remember, was it against United? He went around. Was it?
Van der Sar, I think.
Yes,
Twice.
twice.
Yeah, and
he
he's-
missed
And he hit
both
the
of
post.
them.
The one where he hit the post, I was like, what the hell?
I was like, get this guy out of the club.
He was the definition of JB.
Only at Chelsea, but.
But
Only at
honestly,
Chelsea.
that Torres period is still better than Hoyland's period. That's all I'm gonna say.
He's not wrong.
he's not wrong.
Because think about it, they spent
He's not wrong.
What 50 million back in what 2010?
Yeah, it'd be like fuck
That'd
400
be-
million now.
Yeah,
He's not wrong.
I'll pay it all again to win another Champions League, brother.
but still a proven player at least.
and he won the
These
Champions
guys
League.
spent 75, 80 million on a striker. that
9
scored
goals.
9
9
goals in
goals
his whole
season. Hey,
career.
get him.
To
Get
that
him.
point, bro.
Look,
No, we're not going
do
on
I have
to
a few
United.
minutes to
No,
go?
no, let's go number 3 now.
Do I have a few minutes?
You guys keep coming at him. Go, bro. Defend
Do I have
yourself.
a few minutes to like
you
just
Here we go.
How are you going to justify this, man? What are you going to defend?
I
Look, go
love
number
the
3.
way Riyad goes.
Riyad of old used to defend these type of players.
He's still young, bro. Give him time.
All right. I don't care if we sold him for a packet of chips, bro. That's like expired. I don't care.
Good on you, bro. You know what?
But
Don't defend him.
when you're looking at all
There's a
these
but.
EPL proven strikers, yeah, and I'm talking about your Ibras and your Drogbas and stuff like that. Look and search deeply. When did they peak in their careers?
So he's still young. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying, he's still young.
You turned around again.
I know. I'm just saying. As I said, we're not. Look, United not in the position to go and have patience for striker. He will come good. When he's 25. No.
How old is he now?
He's 20.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, he's 20.
but-
So I get it. The money we paid for, ridiculous. United's pressure, again, it's ridiculous. But yeah, look at every other
22.
striker. Look at every.
He's 22.
So you got
Is he
10 more
actually?
Yeah,
years.
he's 22.
When did we sign him? When he was 20.
20. He signed him when he was 20.
Regardless, 20 or 22, all these prolific strikers, EPL legends, all peaked at 25 and onwards.
Well, that's not true.
It is. Not all of them, but, majority of them.
Bro, you
I mean,
bought-
majority of them.
Haaland came in
Ibra
at
at, like,
21.
Haaland's different breed.
Dominated, yeah.
Yeah,
You brought
scored
Ibra
60
at like
goals.
35, bro.
Bro, I don't think you could bring Højlund to our Monday night games and have confidence that he'll
I
do
think he'll
anything.
be crap.
He would not be able to touch the ball down in front of him.
I honestly think if he does go to Inter, he'll score 20 goals in
But
the
hold on,
series.
wait,
That doesn't mean
that's-
much,
The
though.
Italian league doesn't.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't run a
different-
comparison
No,
to
no.
the
Different ball game. Yeah.
I think
Very
probably the
different
pressure.
ballgame.
Probably the pressure of United.
And we saw it like on display at the Champions League final.
Bro, let's be real. Like when we're playing, we play indoor sometimes, and we have like one or two bad games at indoor, and we're just fucking no-namers. It actually plays on your mind, yeah. And you're like shit, and then you have a third bad game, and it plays on your mind. Imagine these guys playing in the biggest league for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world. When you have fans absolutely like tormenting you left, right, center, the
Would
media's
you-
tormenting. Bro, as a 22-year-old, I'll be honest with you, personally, I would fold.
But
I
you're not
tell
just
you
a
what,
22-year-old.
I'd fold.
You go first, and I'll.
If I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to play football, kick a ball around with 22 other players,
Yeah.
I'd live.
I'd
Yeah.
eat grass to be on that field.
100%.
No, I get you.
If that's your job.
There's a matter of wanting to be there, but also there's a pressure of
But you
of
got to deal with
trying
that.
to perform.
You got to deal with that as a. If you're a
Because
professional
bro, when you're
footballer,
looking at
it's
the
part of the
chances
game.
that he's missed, when you look at the chances he's missed, bro, I'll guarantee you, like, but it's harder to miss than to score.
Are you
so
telling
clearly
me-
there's something going on. Yes, it could be absolutely effing shit. Yeah?
Thank you for not swearing.
But I'm just saying.
But
As
I'm-
a 22-year-old with the pressure of United, yeah, I think we need to ease off because 3 years. I know this as well. You know what? I know he'll go to another club. He'll have a 20-30 GA season or goals, and I'm the one that's going to cop it. See, bro, look, it's United. It's United.
It is, though, to be fair.
How good is the Riyadh monologue?
I
It's
love
just
it.
every episode.
Every
is a
episode,
monologue.
yeah.
I love it.
All right, let's go. Let's go number 3
he's
or
a
4.
villain. He's
What
a
are we on now?
monologue.
3?
So Drogba was in at 4. Just to recap, we got Drogba at 4, Kante at 5, Aguero and KDB at 6, Rooney, Silva 7, 8, Lampard and Carrick in at 9, Van Dijk and Milner in at 10.
Interesting.
This is where it gets serious.
I think I know. I can I know who the top 3 are already.
Top 3. I've got the top 3 in front of me.
Go on.
Coming in at 3, Mohamed Salah to
I knew
Liverpool.
it. I knew it.
37 points. I want to put this in perspective. Drogba had 18 points. Salah has 37.
Wow.
I agree. I can agree with this one because they kept calling him a one-season wonder.
They?
Who's they?
Or you?
Who's you?
I never said that.
You said it, bro. I reckon if I look back in my chats, I'll find you saying
Never
that.
ever said that.
I have texts. I have like things written on my wall at my house.
I never said he was a one-season wonder, but good signing.
35 million? 40 million, roughly. Somewhere around
in
there.
today's price is
34
700
million pounds.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
in today's
I had
money
him
it's
down
like
as 35
800
million pounds, 40 million euros.
Yep.
Obviously came from Roma to Liverpool. Wasn't a big name transfer by any means.
Not at all.
Got dropped from Chelsea's team
He
by
just
Mourinho.
didn't make it. He wasn't. The team was too stacked at the time.
I remember he was
He
doing
still
well
scored a
at
couple
Basel
goals there.
as
Yeah.
well. Like he
Yeah.
was like that player that everyone saw and no one really knew about. It was just that highlight player. You know?
No, he played in the game where Gerrard slipped and he celebrated the goal
he did.
I think Chelsea were a
It's
bit cutthroat back then under Mourinho.
under Roman.
Yeah,
And
under
Mourinho.
Roman.
Under
Roman.
Yeah, under
Not so
Roman.
much the coaches, but
Well, Mourinho
under
did
Roman.
say they just weren't good enough to play at the time, which
Simple
I
as
don't
that.
blame them. The
Yeah,
team
like
was
same
really
with like
good.
what De Bruyne as well.
Yeah, at that time, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll let you two have the floor here. Salah, obviously, coming in the top 3. What does he mean to you guys? What would, like...
Who do you want to go? Who do you want to
Let
start?
Berkz run it.
You
Berkz
start.
doesn't
Here we
talk
go.
much. Berkz, you have the same.
Yeah.
I remember the first thing I remember about Salah at the time when all the rumors were popping up. That was that United were going to sign him too. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And
I do.
they were adamant. United fans were adamant. I remember I was playing at where was it? Casey Panthers at the time, and there was a couple of United fans that were like, "No, we'll sign it. We're going to sign him. We're going to sign him. We're going to sign him." What happened the next week? Liverpool signed him. They shut up.
He would have flopped
At that
at
point,
United.
yeah.
The rest is history.
And then it was like,
You would've
oh, and
flopped
then
it,
straight away
yeah.
like, nah, it's shit anyway. I didn't want him at United, whatever. But To me, he's like, and I had him in my list, and you would have seen I had a couple of Liverpool players in my list, but I had my parameters were set around the impact they had at the club as an individual player within that squad, and what they did to the club, like all the stuff they won as a result. So that's why like Salah's up there for me because, and I said too also, he's one of our most, my opinion obviously, I don't know if we're going to get roasted for this, but he would arguably be one of our most important signings in the Premier League era, I'd say. Overall, from a Premier League perspective.
Yeah.
For what he's done in the modern game, like in the last, I know he's only been around 8 or 9 years now, like, but that Klopp era into now the slot era, like he's cemented his place as sort of being one of the most influential players, Liverpool players in the Premier League. In the Premier League, not of all time, but in the last 20 or 30 whatever years now.
Luke's back up, bro. He's let you have the
Who did he?
I'm stating it. That's my statement. Like he's hey.
Who did Salah replace? Who did Salah replace?
I can't remember who was the winger before him. Who was it?
Probably like what Fabio fucking what's his name?
Don't swear, mate.
You couldn't even name
Barini. No,
Yeah, you guys
we had a lot of
Who did we have
players.
before him? I can't remember.
Sturridge or Sterling?
We had a lot of crap players, man.
Nah, Sterling was gone before then.
Sturridge
Sterling was gone long before then. Sturridge was still there.
Suarez and Sterling played in that three.
They did too, yeah.
Sleepy G.
What was
season.
the denomination again? It was
The
like
SAS.
SAS. That's
They were
the
the
one,
SAS.
Yeah.
And they were deadly.
That was solid, yeah.
They were deadly. I had Salah at 4 in my list, top 10.
I had him at 3.
I mean,
No, he actually replaced Mane on the right, and Mane had to go left. That's what they're saying. And
I thought
Mane
Mane came
switched
in
to
as
left wing.
he did switch to
to-
left.
Oh,
wing.
you're right.
He did switch to
But I
left.
remember
wing.
you're right. The first
Yeah.
game against Arsenal when he scored his first goal.
Yeah.
Salah.
No, Mane at the time was on the right.
Mane was right, and then when Salah got there, he went
I
on to the
believe
left.
we had Diego Aspas in that lineup. We had,
Was
pretty
Aspas
sure
still
we
there
had
at the time?
Barini in that lineup. At one stage, we had Balotelli in that lineup.
What a team!
Yeah, we had a
team, bro.
ridiculously
What about that-
randomized team.
What
it
about
was like
that-
it was like, you know, when you're playing Mario Kart and you go through the little like the box and it just and then like it gives you something, but like you're like fourth, yeah. You need like something good like a red shell, but it gives you like I don't know, a
banana.
You get a banana, yeah,
It
yeah.
gives you another box. You don't know what to do with it.
What about that player Milner? He was really good, wasn't he?
He was actually unreal.
Bro,
He
Milner probably
actually
was
unreal.
slotting it.
That goal, proper utility player, was unreal. But
see?
anyway, we're on Salah
Actual
right now.
Swiss Army.
I've
knife,
got listed here, obviously 4 golden boots, 2 Premier League titles. It's part of a legendary attacking trio in obviously Firmino and Mane. May rest his soul. No.
Yep.
I think based off what Waters' parameters were about return on investment, regardless of how much he cost, £34 million. I think this is a ridiculous return on investment.
Crazy.
2017, 34 million pounds, and again, I didn't really know anything about Salah. Like when we bought him, we were like, yeah, whatever. I've seen this guy at Basel before, Champions League highlights and stuff. I know he got kicked out of Chelsea. I remember that was memed a lot too.
And we knew about
Then-
pace. That was it.
We knew about pace, and like he was just this guy with like this bouncy hair. You're like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Oh, he's hogging it again. He's hogging it again. You know, it was always like those discussions.
Some people used to say one season wonder.
Some people used to say one season wonder. That was a big thing back in the day, but ridiculous return on investment. I had him at number 4 in my list. He's
Well, I can tell you who had him where. So I had Salah 3rd. Fiko, you had him in 4th. Berkz, you had him in at 6.
Did I have him 6? I thought I had 3rd.
You had him 6. Vecchi had him 2nd, and Kez had him 3rd.
Well, obviously the panel looks like there's a stack
have
of
him on my
Liverpool
list.
fans. So obviously it's going
That doesn't mean I don't rate him.
But I
Yeah.
think based off even,
I had him 3rd.
I think based off those points, it would have stacked him up high regardless.
Yeah.
Bro, you got Kez.
I had him at 6.
Kez that didn't pick Kante. I just want to let the people know. Then you got Vecchi, which is
I think numbers speak for
Hold on,
themselves.
the guy. Any chance he gets, he uploads is like one season wonder. Bro, it's been 10 years. Relax, move on. Then you got Berkz,
So
who
wait.
only watches Salah highlights.
Just to clarify, you did say that.
No, I'm just saying when he
did say
uploads
that, but
it,
I'm
when he
telling you
uploads
for
it, he
that.
just keeps putting in there one season wonder. All right, bro, we get it. It's been 15. Oh, I don't want to swear.
Don't swear.
Cut that out, bro. It's been freaking 10 years.
Swear, bro. Who cares?
I want to get. I want to push monetization, boys.
He's
Yeah, so is Salah a cult hero? Is he one of your legends?
He's definitely the best player in the modern era.
Yes.
That's without a doubt, right? I think there's a handful of them that you can say now. Like you got Salah, Gerrard, Van Dijk, probably the 3 most clear, and then you'd have probably Alisson right below that list, right? I think without him, you guys would have been nowhere near as successful as you have been in these modern times. I know he hasn't been successful playing in finals, like he doesn't have that finals pedigree of a Drogba, but getting to the final,
he gets
is-
reminded a lot by
Yeah,
Wood.
all the time.
He's a player that you need to get to a final. He's a player that you need to be top of the table. He's that caliber of player. And to come in for 35 million.
It's ridiculous.
Like, let's be
What a
realistic.
steal.
35 million in the modern market. When I think in the same season, Neymar went for 200 and whatever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
You know,
Great
we're
business by
talking,
Liverpool.
in my opinion, the third best player the Premier League's seen, in my opinion. Everyone's got their own whatever views on that. But that is ludicrous business by by Liverpool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one of the best players in general of the modern era of Premier League, and not only just Liverpool. So
Yeah,
But
transcends.
specifically for Liverpool.
transcends being a footballer, I think.
Yes.
He's definitely brought a bit more of a multicultural feeling to Liverpool. Yeah. I think we can all agree on that.
Definitely.
Without going too deep into it and whatever, I think we
Definitely.
can definitely agree that he's brought that bit more of a wider view into Liverpool. And, you know, it's
Well said.
amazing to see what he's done for the game. Players like Mane obviously have what they do as well with the charities and,
Absolutely.
you know, the schools and everything back. It's amazing to see what these players do when they are
Yeah.
lifted to a status of that, you know, that caliber.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's United. Zips and people.
He's also the owner of Old Trafford, so just
Yeah, in the last-
He
He's
certainly
got the title. Yeah.
he does have
He's
the
actually got-
deeds
he's got a
to
record,
look at.
bro.
and it
That's
makes
crazy.
sense because it's like it's falling apart. Like it's
Time for him to.
was that too far?
Nah, it's a good one.
I think I reckon he's worthy of a statue when the time comes.
Oh,
When
absolutely.
his time is up, he'll get a statue.
absolutely. He
and
has
he'll
to.
deserve it
Statue
too.
with a fro or with a nice buzz cut?
with the fro. It has
I
to be
think-
iconic.
The new hair looks
His
unreal.
next transfer though can't be in England.
He will go to Saudi Arabia probably.
I
If
think
the
I
money's
would
still
have to
there. If the money's still there, I reckon he'll go there.
Bro, wait. A year ago or two ago, wasn't he linked to United?
Bro, don't worry about that.
Two, Salah.
12
Yeah, I'm serious. Before this season,
No,
wasn't
he was never linked to United.
That was
serious, he
never.
was. He was linked
nah.
to
He was
United.
never linked to
That was
United.
never
You
a
were
thing.
just saying, give him 500k. Is he going to say no?
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
literally-
You
it was
linked
on
him
this
to
pod.
United.
It was on this pod.
Only you linked him to United.
It was on this pod.
You're like, bro, the money can get him just 500,000 a week.
It's because you score so many goals at Old
No,
Trafford.
that's because
anyway.
you
might as well just
play for
us.
I,
Yeah,
I
contract
will
issues.
say, 12 months ago, not even 12, 10 months ago, none of you were talking about Salah like
Yeah,
this.
look, if you leave,
No,
you
I remember.
leave.
Yes, I agree. No, there
You
was.
know,
We were discussing
No one was talking
Because we
everyone
were-
was talking about him going. Give us
Especially-
the money.
because
Let
that
him
was
go.
that was
Especially
the,
that fraud Vicky.
that was the,
Vicky was leading that charge.
that was the time when it was like, all right, we got Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk's contracts are running down. Of the three, if
All I know what Vicky's going to say.
Context. The context is going to be because
He's about to
it
say
is the context.
No. I was definitely not on that boat. Was definitely not
I'll
on that
admit, I
boat.
did say if we were to lose out of the three players, if we lost Salah and we kept the two, because we didn't we've never had. I mean, we did for the last couple of years, but historically, our backline's always been cooked. It's always been we've either had like a good front line, no backline. We've had a bit of a good backline. We've had no one else up front. Like it's always just been this like that horse meme where it's like the back is drawn like a stick figure, the front's drawn immaculately, the middle's drawn all right. Like in that context, I was like, all right, if we were to lose Salah, I think there's options in the market that we can go for. I feel like you're less capable of, we'll be less capable of finding a player in the back line if we were to lose like a Trent or a Van Dijk. Now that we've lost Trent, I don't even know who that is, to be honest. I don't know why I'm saying his name. But
hang on. You can't say that
I don't know
now.
who that man is.
You can't say
I don't know
that
about-
now.
But now that we've lost him, and we've managed to get a decent replacement in Frimpong, who I think, in my head, I see him as going to be like a successor on that right side in
Which leads
general.
us to our second
Once he
best
does
transfer
leave.
of all time.
Does he?
But anyway,
does
that's a different conversation.
Does
We'll
he
have at
back?
some
Does he
point.
back it next year?
Who?
Next season? Sorry.
Salah or Slot?
Salah backs it.
I think he does, bro.
Salah is going for all those records, bro.
You know what I'm
He's
going to
that
call
type
it here
of player.
first? This season that he just had is a
I reckon.
Didn't even leave his mouth. He's like, it's all okay.
I reckon the caliber of player that he is and the type of person that he is, like he's driven. So like I reckon he will be, even if he doesn't get to the same heights, I reckon he's going to push for
He's
whatever
going
he
to fall
did
off
this
a cliff
season.
so hard. It's going to be the best.
He might, bro, but I reckon in his mind he's determined to do that and he'll push as far as
Do you
he
know what it
can.
is, bro? It's the haircut and all these topless photos he puts
Yeah,
up.
he loves it.
It's
He
the-
loves it. He loves it.
You cheese him up.
Netflix. Yeah, he looks at himself in the mirror, bro, the whole day.
So just to recap, he is our third best signing in Premier League history.
Beautiful.
We are coming into our top two.
Here we go.
Riyadh's list included 7 Manchester United players.
Hey, bro, I was being biased. I was.
7 Manchester United players. It did not include the player that's number 2 on our list.
Unreal.
CR7 to United
You didn't have CR7.
I didn't, as I
comes
said.
in as the second
Context.
best Premier League transfer of all time with 45 points.
That's unreal.
I mean, not surprised, but yeah.
Salah had
Curious to know who's
37.
won.
Ronaldo sits on 45.
That's huge.
I would say take the floor, but you didn't even have him in your list.
Wow. Who the hell wouldn't have Ronaldo in their list?
Do you have him on your list? Do you have him on your list? Exactly. So we're in the same boat here.
Oh, you didn't have a list.
Because we did the same thing. We just did Premier League to Premier League.
Oh, yeah, okay. See, yeah.
You know what the worst thing is? I told you specifically
Yeah, I know.
it's anything.
Yeah, I know.
Like, in our actual messages, I said it transfers from any club into
Bro, I
the
was
Prem.
So
reading
you're
them,
telling
it's
me
just my
this guy could have been first?
Probably not, because I think
Is there a
would
big gap?
I would have had him at first if
you would have had him at first, but that would have
nah.
Would that have got it?
possibly
That
if
might
both
have
of you
actually-
had
yeah,
him
it would have had him
first,
at first
possibly.
too.
How
Yeah.
close was the voting between 1 and 2?
I don't want to say. I'll talk
Yeah.
about it when time
Let's
comes.
get
Yeah.
there. You're right.
When we get
Right.
there.
Ronaldo
When we get there, but Ronaldo is the second best
45,
transfer,
huh?
and in my opinion, again, he's the second best player the Premier League's ever seen.
Is this when he came to United the second time?
Clearly the first time, bro. Come on.
If you want me to, if I was going to include that, I would have had him as the first because he was another reason why you started sinking all the way down to the depths.
No, that was Ten Hag. But anyway,
It was all Ten Hag, yeah.
That was Ronaldo too.
But you're saying this
He
is a
ca-
big Messi.
He put a light
He
on.
came in and he's like, my gym here is from 1378.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
The
mad.
same lady that made my lunches 15
He's
years
making
ago,
him today.
she's still packing them now.
And she's falling apart.
you know
while
what?
she
That
does
just
it.
reminds me of Matilda, and then Cookie walks out with cake. You guys remember that scene from Matilda?
Bruce Brock's on there, yeah.
And she's like
on.
snotting. She's like, you know, that one, that's when he said that. That's like, yes, that's Cookie from Matilda.
But hold on, why is Ronaldo like? I like that he went in there and he was like, he pretty much said, he showed the world the standard of this club is absolute trash.
Yeah.
That's
why
a good thing. I
That's why
reckon
he would be
that's
so high for
That's
me.
a positive, yeah. But like, he didn't sink the club. He's just showing
He
the world
did.
why
he
they're
was
sinking.
part of sinking.
He's
I don't
the
think so.
goat
Do you know
for
why?
sinking
Because
them.
I don't.
because he's bigger than the club,
He is.
He is, but he
bigger
came in
than
with a
any
passion
club.
for that club.
and no
still.
other player had the kahunas.
Cojones.
To come up and put him in the firing line, and he did, and that because he's
bigger than the club.
Just to bring you back on track, though, we are talking about the first transfer from Sporting to United,
Yeah.
17 million.
Take us through it, LP.
I mean, this came in at a time after a Champions League game.
correct. It was a no, it wasn't. It was
The
a friendly.
pre-season game.
It was a preseason
yeah,
game.
sorry, I did get that wrong. But he was wearing the number 17 at Sporting. He was playing on the left wing at the time. And I believe Arsenal and Wenger had already spoken to Ronaldo and his agents.
It was
and
done basically.
He
Wow.
was almost done
I
to
don't know this.
Arsenal. As soon as Sir Alex came into the picture and said, sign this boy, do whatever you can, sign this boy.
Yeah.
He then got the number 7 shirt. That debut, honestly, to this day, I still watch Ronaldo's debut at times. There's a 10 or 12-minute video on YouTube that shows the highlights from that first game. I was like, holy shit.
You know what's-
We've got a
yeah.
player. What a player.
It's funny that LP says that because he's a big Messi guy.
Yeah. yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Actually, yeah, I
that's saying
forgot about that,
something.
yeah.
And you're someone that I know is a Messi guy
all the way.
all the way.
Yeah.
And saying what you just said about Ronaldo being
Yeah.
the sinker of United, that's huge to be able to say.
Bro,
That debut game is one of the best. He came 70th minute or so. He came
something
on.
like that, bro.
Second half against
Harley Reid.
Reading, I think.
Reading,
I think
Reading.
it was Reading, whatever you say it. And his first touch was like a flick back heel to the left back after he
What
took
about
a player
step-overs?
on, and I was like, wow, like it wasn't in the realms of what I'd watched in the Prem. I hadn't seen that. I'd seen Joe Cole, I'd seen these players, whatever you want to say, Pires, Henry, but I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen 7 step-overs and a Travella cross.
I'm about to get emotional, bro.
Yeah, bro, honestly.
I'm actually about to get emotional.
Ronaldo
bro.
was that player. We're talking about transcending football. He was everything as a boy growing up. You're just
Yeah,
like,
he
I
got me
want to
to-
be that guy.
It
You
went,
know?
honestly,
We wanted to be him.
Yeah, you're
this is how the Boots history went, right? It went from, for me, it went from the Ronaldinho R10s, the Tiempos, basically,
To the CR7s.
to the CR7s.
Yes.
In between, I had the Henri Superflies, but then it went to the CR7s.
Everything that he wore, you wanted. everything that he chucked on with the Nike boots and whatnot, you're like,
It was
I'm
the
getting that.
white socks,
yes.
with the Nike boots.
His little hair with the little
Noodly
tips.
hair as well.
Yeah.
It was a long sleeve jersey.
jersey. They
Yeah,
don't make them
the
anymore,
earrings on, the diamond.
Yeah. He really did set the path for football global superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was probably the first one to be that global superstar after Beckham.
I was gonna say if Beckham was like in his time, like if they swapped places and Beckham was still playing to this day, he would have been that person. But like that's what we got. That's Ronaldo was that level of superstar
and more.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
And more,
And
definitely.
Like he's the most followed Instagram account of
Yeah.
all time, isn't it? Like still ahead of your Kim Kardashians, whatever. else,
Shout out
which
to the
is-
greatest player ever.
Second greatest. But bro, take over. Come on, man. You're about to cry in front of me.
I can actually see his
you
eyes
should.
welling up,
His eyes
bro.
are literally
Talking about
watering.
him.
His eyes are welling up.
Bro, CR7. What can I say? Those sleepless days waking up for the Champions League to watch CR7, going to school absolutely munted. And just talking about CR7, I don't think I'll live another, 20, 30 years, 40 years and seeing another Ronaldo come through the ranks.
Well.
Personally, I don't think there'll be
You're gonna make me
another
cry now, bro.
Ronaldo ever.
Take us through his accolades at me.
And, hey,
take us through his accolades.
bro, there's too many and my phone died anyway.
Ballon d'Or.
But Ballon d'Or winner,
3
2008 for United, Champions League winner for United, multiple Prem Leagues, just absolutely and the game was different then too. Like you'd get absolutely battered when you try to do a couple of step overs and stuff like that. Like you'd see the shit people or the opposition used to do to him. Like we're talking about season-ending injuries, or sorry, tackles.
He's on a few compilations where he's getting absolutely
Yeah.
and he gets back
Belted,
up.
yeah.
He gets back
yeah,
up.
yeah. And I'm actually quite offended that he's at 2.
Don't be.
Why? Bro, he's the greatest player of all time.
Don't be. Don't be.
He's the greatest player of all time, Oogs.
Dude, at Real Madrid, he was, he elevated at Real Madrid. But for the Premier League, he's definitely not the best player
And it was
that Premier
bought
League
for
seen.
Premier League context, yeah.
£12.25 million in 2003.
Yeah, €17.
But seriously, will we ever see another CR7?
I don't think you need to worry about that. Genuinely, I think you need to worry about will we ever see another Messi? Because I don't think we will, ever.
More importantly, as a United fan, you're going to be like, are we going to stay in the league?
Yeah, you've got bigger problems to worry about.
You shouldn't be worried about, are we going to see
I don't
Ronaldo?
think United will
Are you gonna have a club to
ever-
support tomorrow?
I don't think United will ever get relegated.
Honestly,
Ever.
Ever.
But it's
Bro,
happened
don't
before.
speak too soon. You got very
Sportsbet
lucky.
plays a massive hand here,
You got
bro.
very lucky this year.
Sportsbet will never allow it.
We're not going into conspiracies here.
all right, let's go.
We're not
condone betting either.
endorsing
We don't
betting. We don't
condone
condone betting. No betting. Don't bet. Gamble responsibly.
Get railed today.
Gamble
Why, bro?
responsibly.
General market.
Anyway, moving along. Number 1.
I just want to say 3 out of 7 of us had the same top 3. 4 out of 7 of us had this player as their top transfer in Premier League history. Now, there's no one else it can be. The reason why I started following football, the reason why I started following Arsenal, the reason why a whole generation of kids followed Arsenal and are now left in depression. I am talking about the king.
Can I guess it?
No.
Olivier Giroud.
I'm talking about
Robert
the king,
Perez, bro.
the greatest transfer in Premier League history,
Well,
Thierry Henry.
Wow, what a player.
Well,
I had him at 1.
I had him at 1 too.
I didn't have him because I did.
when you said the king, I thought
we
you were
get it,
talking
bro. You
about,
got the instructions wrong. Say it again.
when you said the king, I thought about Eric Cantona.
Kez, you,
How much
Berkz,
was it?
and
How
myself,
much did he come to?
14 million.
Wow.
From Juventus too.
I had him,
Juventus.
yeah, £11 million.
Yeah, 14 euro.
Yeah, 1999.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for like
For back then, yeah.
He's just got so much aura.
Yeah,
He's what a guy.
He is probably
Still.
the footballer, the retired footballer with the most aura.
That's just
Yeah,
giving me,
100%.
that's made my headache worse.
Can we chuck in that little gif of like him doing that smirk there?
Yeah, he's
I can't even do that, bro.
unreal.
You're not allowed to talk.
How is he over CR7, bro?
He's number 1.
How?
Riyadh is number 1.
I don't want to hear you talk for the rest of this.
Riyadh, he's number 1.
Genuinely,
Explain the O2 jersey that
Riyadh
he
gets
wears.
unplugged.
The O2 jersey.
long sleeve
Water jersey.
O2
Wow.
jersey
Real.
with gloves on.
Yes.
signifies one player, and it signifies the game was over before it started. We're talking invincible. We're talking still to this day, the only player in Premier League history to have a 20-goal, 20-assist
This
season.
guy had Michael Carrick. Anyway.
Don't worry about him. We are talking about the most pivotal player in Premier League's history. We're talking goals that we've never seen before, goals we'll never see again. We're talking about pace, dribbling, control,
He had it all.
assists, through balls, goals, long carries. Anything and everything a footballer should be was Henry at Arsenal.
He was unreal.
I will not hear anything against him. He was the
You
best
I
player
really like
we've
him.
ever seen.
I would have tried to troll, but I love him so much.
Nah, I can't troll him as well.
yeah, nah, he's
I honestly
I
was.
can't troll him either. I love the bloke, but I'm just saying,
How can it be number one?
how could he be number one?
But
Over
I
CR7?
do know why?
Every
Because it's
reason
Premier
I've
League.
said.
For all of those reasons, but I think, like you said, like he at that time too, he was like almost the face of the Premier League too, and that for me, like he was. If I went down that path, I almost would have become an Arsenal fan just for Henry, because I used to love Henry too as a kid. Like just even without watching football fully, like just him as a player, like you'd see him on the covers of FIFA, or whatever, playing with him on
02.
FIFA, all of that.
02,
Like
03, he was on the cover.
that was almost a defining moment for me. I could have been more depressed
First,
as an Arsenal fan right now.
or even more checked out.
Yeah,
the first,
I want to be on this pod right now, bro.
soccer game that I had on PlayStation.
Excuse me, did you say soccer?
football game that I had?
You're sacked,
was
bro.
why I said soccer was what it was Pro Evolution Soccer.
Ah,
three.
yes,
I
okay,
had
alright.
3 and
Play
I
on.
had 5. Right?
That's when we were London
Bro,
FC.
I used
what do
to,
you mean?
I used
Weren't
to
you born in
play-
2005?
Brother,
Anyway,
brother.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
You want to keep interrupting me? You're going to walk away again. Anyway, I'm not even going to.
Come unplug me, bro.
I'm 2 cent.
Come unplug me.
I'm 2 cent. I used to always play as Arsenal. Always.
Yeah, they were a good team to play with back
Like
then. Yeah.
03, obviously, that was the Invincible season. He was probably the face of the Invincibles. Obviously, there were
Absolutely.
plenty of other players in that team that arguably one of the best teams, well, the best teams ever. A lot of great players in there as well. Bergkamp. Robert Perez, like Vieira, you know what I mean? Like there's some players in there, right? But Henry to be the face of that team, and because of that, like you said, the face of the Premier League, it just speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know about Riyadh smoking, but anyway.
Absolutely.
Bro, I love the bloke to
Right,
bits.
unplug him again.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, he obviously holds an extra. You know, he's very sentimental to you because Gunners. You know, but I don't see kids growing up idolizing him. I'm talking about this generation now.
Nah, well, I
No,
gave
this
you,
generation.
As a
Why
rival
would
fan,
any-
I'll give you reasons.
Why
Maybe
would
guys that are
anyone,
born-
no, but why would anyone in this generation idolize him when he retired in like 2007 or 8 or whatever it was?
no, it
It's
was
been later than that.
no, it was like
Or
2012,
10 or whatever, whatever it was, bro. No, you're right. 2012 he came back to Arsenal and then he retired 2013.
Yeah.
But no one would have seen him in his peak powers unless they were born in the 90s or earlier.
One of my earliest memories, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 05-06 or 06-07 season where he had 25 goals and like 16 assists. That was what was one of those seasons. He had a ridiculous GA that season. And I remember that was one of the first seasons that I was really like into football, like following it. That's when I really first started. That's probably why I became a Liverpool fan, 2005, around then. But genuinely that season was like, wow, who is this guy? Like watching SBS and stuff like that, watching like, Les Murray's like the UCL shows and whatnot back then. He was the player.
Yeah.
So
2005, did you say? 2005?
That's what he was saying.
Oh, when you were sucking on a dummy.
Riyadh's so fast sent, bro.
Riyadh's
gone.
Riyadh's finished.
Hey, this whole freaking podcast has been a spin cycle.
He's
bro.
sent. He's
Oh
sent.
god, I sent him early. He hasn't looked
bro.
good.
Riyadh's not come back since.
have Henry, but why isn't it a United player at number one instead?
Hey, I've never seen Riyadh this.
Anyway, I'm gonna
1 hour
I
straight.
think the biggest thing is as well, still to this day, we see the respect he gets.
clearly not.
No, we see the respect he gets from
The youngsters
all
now.
players.
Yeah, that celebration.
players.
That recently, yeah. That was
And-
unreal.
We've seen players run up to him and celebrate with him while he's a pundit live on air. You know, we see players coming up to him during warm-up, shaking his hand. All the French players we look at now grew up idolizing this
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
The
Mbappe had posters of
Yes.
him on his
Yes.
wall. And I will say, still to this day, he's faster than Mbappe has ever been.
Bro.
his recorded sprint is still faster than Mbappe's ever has been. Like this player is
I'm sorry, I'm still
unbelievable.
sent by Riyadh.
Even Khabib, literally, just like a couple of days ago, went up to him and he had that. He's like, "You actually upset me," and he goes, "Why?" He goes,
yeah.
"What you did to Madrid."
Yeah.
'Cause I was a
What you
Madrid
did to
supporter.
Madrid.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. The 1-0 victory at the Bernabeu when he scored the goal and he strolled to the corner flag and he left that corner flag like I am the king of Madrid.
Right.
What a player! Honestly, what a player! I've been saving myself for this one. I can't lie. Honestly,
8 months of podcast.
Are you ever going to see
bro.
anyone that's going to come near Henry for Arsenal ever
Never.
again?
Probably not.
Oh, no.
Probably not. In all honesty, he
What's
has like a player to match Henry at Arsenal. I don't think we'll ever see.
Martinelli, you don't.
He is against someone that has elevated himself to be on level with clubs. As an individual, he has that gravity, that gravitas, or whatever you want to call it.
The reason I had him, sorry, for cutting you off, but the reason I had him at number 1 too is because when I again face of the Premier League, face of that Invincibles team, there was like our generation of people born in millennials, whatever you want to call it, like we would be able to idolize him more freely than kids these days. But I think beyond everything else, if you think about Arsenal, you think about Henry.
Yeah.
Like in the Premier League era, you think about that player immediately. The club and the player are one. Like they're synonymous. It's like Coke, Coca-Cola, not the other Coke. Coca-Cola is you don't think of Pepsi, you think of Coca-Cola. You know what I mean?
See
Like
what he's doing. He's cooking.
the brand and the product itself, they're one and the same. Henry is Arsenal, and Arsenal is Henry.
It's like Riyadh and Delusion.
The reason I had
Riyadh and Kettle.
number 1, genuinely, all those reasons. But I compare Salah to that. I'm like, I just wanted to surpass that. Not that he's on the same level, but I'm like, it's more of like a. I want him to get that. You know,
I think.
Why they? I'm confused. Why they off? Why
they got sent.
Yeah, I have no issue with you saying that.
Not same levels by any far. I'm trying to say let him achieve that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, like that's the goal you want him
that's
to
the goal.
attain.
That's the aspiration.
But
Yeah.
I don't think again if Henry was Henry now and we had the longevity and he was playing at the top level at a top club till 35, 36, we'd be talking again completely different about him. We'd be talking even more. He came in 1999. Yeah.
Body,
Arsene Wenger was the first one to introduce diets into the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 98.
There was still smoking and
bro.
drinking before games still.
And Henry in that Los Galacticos Madrid team. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous. If we're talking about a player that if we were watching him now, what we'd be seeing would be on another level as well.
Yeah.
Ludicrous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's our top 10. Quick recap for you. Van Dijk and Milner in at 10th. Lampard and Carrick at 9. David Silva at 8. Rooney 7. Aguero and KDB in at 6. Our top 5 is Kante, Drogba, Salah, Ronaldo and Henry. So that's the OTB top 10 transfer list. Put in the comments what you think your top 10 list would be. Let us know how ridiculous it is having Carrick and Milner in this list. Please, I can't believe it.
And I'm sure the people that comment will understand the rules better than Riyadh and Uru will ever read anything anyway.
Hopefully. But thank you guys. Our vlog is out. Please watch, like, subscribe. Sorry, Red.
It's all good.
Like, subscribe, all our socials. Anyone want to add anything else?
Honestly, that's about it. I'm glad that I had Riyadh and a spin cycle all podcast.
He's got me on a spin cycle at the moment. I'm gone.
This is a merry-go-round, mate.
What an episode!
I am gone.
I've lost my hair. Riyadh's lost his head.
I'm thinking about shaving my head like that.
Do it. I don't know if I'll be back.
On that note, guys, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.